Welcome back to Studio F. We're on Fast Times Willy B. We'll be reviewing Jurassic World Rebirth. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell.
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I've got Kris with me. Kris, how we doing?
Doing great.
So Kris
How we
stepping
doing?
in the absence of Tony. Tony
Tony, I hope you're watching.
had to run to Put-in Bay for a weekend vacation.
Sorry, excuse.
You know, things didn't line up, but Kris gets to finish the franchise here as Tony, the first six. Kris gets to come in, do the seventh one, and then give his ranking of the franchise at the end of the video.
Yeah.
But we're back with another Jurassic movie.
Yeah.
We've got Gareth Edwards in the director's chair, which when that was announced, that was something I was really intrigued by.
What
He
else?
did Godzilla in 2014,
Ooh.
which is one I like a lot.
Did
He
he
did
do
Rogue
the whole-
One.
All the Godzillas or just 2014?
Just 2014, I believe. He did Rogue One, and then he also did
One of the,
The
best
Creator.
Star Wars movies.
Yeah, he did The Creator, which came out a couple years ago as well. So
Top 3 Star, maybe top, yeah.
when it comes to movies that require,
He likes
A
stepping into
spectacle.
franchises
Yeah.
that takes a lot of guts to
well, The
step
Creator
into.
was his own thing, but yeah, other than that, I mean,
Yeah.
he came in and,
Knowing the fans are like,
yeah.
they're going to
So-
judge it. If
so-
you better hold up to that standard.
Now he's taking
Star
on a
Wars,
third
Jurassic
one.
Park,
Yeah.
yeah.
So good for him, but excited to see him in the
Godzilla.
director's chair. That was something that really got me excited for this. Cast-wise, we've got some fun names too. We got Scarlett Johansson, who's always
Oh,
great
yeah.
to see. She, unleashed her inner Black Widow in this movie.
I was going to say, it basically felt like it was Black Widow
Yeah.
and dinosaurs,
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
We got Mahershala Ali, who
Future Blade, maybe.
someday
Hopefully.
maybe, but he's been in a lot of other things that are great as well. Rupert Friend was in this one. We've got Jonathan Bailey, who
Yeah.
played Dr. Loomis. And then we've got, other characters sprinkled here and there. Kind of just follow around with what the same, 8 characters the whole movie.
Yeah, it had the two groups. They were together, then they were split up, then they were together, then they were split up, and then they were back together.
Yeah.
again. But
But we'll start with the good. And the first thing I want to say in the good is it feels really good to be back on an island.
oh yeah, I love
Because-
the environment, the jungle.
Yeah, I think what really, bogged the 5th and 6th movies down for me was the setting. And I
Yeah.
mentioned those in my review. The 6th one, we're at least, somewhat back in nature, but we're at this, lab compound, and it just
Yeah.
doesn't feel like an island. And then the 5th one, we're in a mansion.
Yeah, the 5th
And
one.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. But here we're back on a new island, so we're not on side A or side B. We're on
Yeah.
an island where they were doing testing, and basically anything that was too ugly or whatever was stuck on this island.
Yeah,
And it was where they did a lot of genetic modification. We do have some dinosaurs that are themselves, like the Mosasaurus obviously is traveling all over and still free from the 5th movie. That is a Mosasaurus. We've got a T-Rex on this island.
yeah.
We've got a couple raptors, but they meet their demise from a raptor pteranodon mix.
Yeah, there's some crazy.
And then we got some Titanosaurus in this movie. So we do have some basic dinosaurs, but we have a lot of hybrids. I mean, we have the D-Rex. We have, like I said, the raptor pterodactyl mixed, which
Yeah.
is just
Crazy.
creepy to think about. We have different variations of the Spinosaurus, which I'm glad to see them back because they were always my favorite dinosaur in this franchise. So we also get the Quetzalcoatlus, who is the meat-eating big bird that is.
Oh yeah,
that
when
is
they're
cool to
climbing
see
down
too.
into that, you have to get the sample from the eggs. Yeah.
But it was good to
that
be
thing is
back in
crazy.
their environment, and we're, it makes it feel like, once again, an adventure movie like those first 3 movies do. Obviously, you have tons of horror mixed in.
I was gonna say
but-
this one felt like more of a horror movie than any other one. There was a lot of parts.
Yeah.
I was I almost jumped a couple times,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
But setting is definitely the big good for me. Glad to be back. But we really don't get to the island until about halfway through this movie, an hour in. The
yeah, they
first
spent a
hour
lot
is,
on the ocean.
Yeah, is establishing why they're going to this island, and then them tracking down the Mosasaur, while the other group of people that we follow along in this movie are attacked by the Mosasaur, and then they get together, and we have the fun Mosasaur versus the boat scene
Yeah,
as
that
they
was-
get into the sand. We lose Atwater here, and then we lose Nina. obviously on the island from the Spinosaur, which I thought was a pretty cool kill.
Oh yeah, that kill was crazy. And then the blood in the water
Yeah.
after. You just see
And then he
picks up the bandana.
Yep.
Oh.
That would suck.
Yeah.
If that was one of your best friends. But yeah, I mean, good dinosaur action as soon as we get to the island, and then from there it's just the adventure. And something you always expect or want from a Jurassic World movie, Jurassic Park movie, is effects to look good. I thought the effects looked great in this movie.
I think everything looked pretty cool. I mean, the D-Rex is pretty ugly, but I think that was kind of the point. It kind of reminded me of like the Alien. Like
it was cool because they were like, what I heard is when this movie was being made and that was like appeared in the trailer is that the creators were kind of going for a mix of a T-Rex. You could tell that there was some Titanosaur in there, but they also were mixing it with some like movie monsters. Like the Xenomorph was mentioned in the article I read. One of which monster was it from Star Wars? One of the monsters from Star Wars, maybe the Rancor was. I think it's what it was mentioned as another inspiration for mixing into this dinosaur. So it's an homage to not only the titans of the Jurassic Park franchise, but the titans of just movies.
Just monsters, like monster movies.
I thought that was pretty cool. I agree. It's definitely a hideous looking dinosaur. But it was, in my opinion, it was kind of a cool little add-in. It didn't like run the movie by any means. It was definitely just a third act Predator, but it was still cool to have its presence there for sure. Especially with how they did it too with the flares and stuff. Like seeing it in the red light.
I like how like each actor part of the movie had like its own boss sort of. Like it wasn't like one big dinosaur, one T-Rex. That was like there was a T-Rex scene, and then there was the scene with when they were getting the sample from the egg. Yeah. The Mosasaurus in the water. Like it was just sick. Like
you had basically four showdowns. Yeah. You had the water monsters, you had the Mosasaurus and the Spinosaurus taking on the boat, and then it was the T-Rex versus the family, and then it was the big bird versus the scientists. And then
the D-Rex with the raptor.
And it was D-Rex and raptor versus them all. Yeah. So it was kind of, I agree, it was kind of a cool, because in a lot of the other movies, like especially the Park franchise, you keep running in with the T-Rex and the raptors, and the second one you keep running with the T-Rexes, and the third one you keep running with the Spinosaurus. Yeah. This one, it's like each dinosaur kind of got their own moment to shine, which was pretty cool. Which was your favorite showdown?
I would say probably either the end or the water. The water scene was just sick for me. When he that had me like on the edge of my seat too, because like the anxiety when they're like hanging off the boat, and then when Atwater he gets killed, and then the girl, she gets killed on the beach, just swallowed up. I'm like, this is crazy. Like that, they started off with a bang.
I like all of the showdowns.
I mean, me too. Yeah, I thought it was
my favorite might be the T-Rex.
The T-Rex was fun, and that anxiety of the little girl in the boat. And then they make it, and then the boat pops back up. Yeah. I jumped a little bit on that. I was like, dang.
I had got a comment on my attitude reaction, how did the T-Rex not pop the boat? I thought the same thing. My only guess is that if you're building a park like that, maybe the material you use is more bite-proof.
That is true. I didn't really even think about that. I just don't really think of logistics when I'm watching a movie like this, though. Like, I'm here for the dinosaurs and fun. I'm not breaking it down.
I get it, though. Like, I kind of thought the same thing. Like, because you see its teeth come through.
Because if it is an inflatable boat, it should pop. You're right.
But maybe they used better material, is my guess, because the park and the island that they're on, knowing that they could have their boat bitten at any moment. I don't know. But I thought that scene was high anxiety, too, because you just got this T-Rex that swim. We could see the T-Rex swim, which is kind of cool.
That was cool, yeah.
When he comes out of the water, he's chomping under the water, like just really well shot scene too. And then you get the iconic, the head's too big to fit through that hole, and that's how you get saved. The iconic escape from T-Rex that they use in a lot of T-Rex situations, but nonetheless, I still liked it here. Yeah, and then I mean, not to take away from the Quetzalcoatlus scene, definitely worth mentioning. I mean, another high intensity scene. Yeah. That's an intense bird. I think that's a fun scene too.
They're because falling down the mountain.
Yeah, because the
Dr. Loomis falls and hits the trees. The trees. If it wasn't for them trees, he was done.
Yeah, and then the serum
sample just floats down. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
I love it. Dr. Loomis is probably my favorite character in this movie. I think he's just.
I think Duncan's probably my favorite.
I mean, that's fair. For me, Loomis is definitely the most morally correct.
I was gonna say he's a good
he's
guy.
Also probably the best comedic relief in this movie too.
Either him or Xavier.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Xavier's definitely just there for the comedy.
Yeah.
But Loomis does it in more of a a serious, but it's him being serious makes it funny.
Yeah.
He also drops my favorite line in the movie, which is of all the species that ever lived on Earth, 99.9% of them are extinct. Survival is a long shot. Like I think that's a crazy line. It's crazy to think about. Like,
and Lenny, I know you like the scene when he like screams and he starts crying.
Yeah. Oh, dude, when the Titanosaurus scene, when they're getting the
it starts playing the music, like
plays the iconic
music.
"Welcome to Jurassic Park" score, and you have Jonathan Bailey.
That was just
Loomis.
a scene where you just have a smile on your face.
Dude,
like, it's just like
that was the nostalgia scene right there. That was the. I mean, there was a couple little Easter eggs and homage paid to the predecessors of this franchise, but that scene, like, it felt like when Grant and Sattler saw the Brachiosaurus in the first movie.
Yeah.
You're just watching them look at these titanosaurs that are just, like, kind of loving on each other, and Jonathan Bailey, or Dr. Loomis, touches the dinosaur, and he has to pull his glasses out. That's exactly how I'd react if I got to touch a dinosaur like that. But that scene is for sure, like, it's probably my favorite scene in the movie. Which is crazy. It's really like the least action-packed. But it's like
just so well shot, the music and
we
all
finally
the elements.
The Titanosaurs are such cool dinosaurs too. The tails and
yeah,
I thought they looked good.
I agree.
Yeah, that's just such a good scene, and that's the scene where you see it in everybody too. Like even Duncan and the guy that's helping him, the French guy that helps
bad
drive
guy of the movie. Yeah.
No, not him. The French guy that was helping him ride the boat.
Duncan's friend. Yeah,
you can see them just like mouth open, looking at this like. Anybody who's ever in that situation, doesn't matter who it is probably going to stop and be like, damn, this is pretty awesome.
You have to take
You can just see it in everybody's face acting that, like, that would be such a cool moment for anybody to live, And so that scene to me is just, it's probably the best scene in the movie.
Yeah, it's up there.
But yeah, I love Dr. Loomis. I love a lot of the characters in this movie. I think... something that's always tough when you're expanding on a franchise is can you make characters that are just as likable as what came
especially
before.
When this is like however many sets of new characters like they just keep it's basically it's a soft reboot almost, like it's continuing the story, but this is
you go back to the original,
all new characters.
You love Malcolm, you love Grant, you love Sattler. You go to the new ones, I loved Owen Grady and Claire Daring. I loved them both. And then this one, you're like, okay, we got new characters. I loved Scarlett Johansson. I loved Jonathan Bailey as Loomis. I loved, like you said,
so
Duncan.
happy Duncan lived.
Yeah.
Because I'm hoping there's a second one to this. Or I think it's a new trilogy. I wouldn't
be surprised if there is.
Seems like that seems to be the trend with these is trilogies.
Yeah,
so.
And it's called Rebirth. I mean, if you're calling something Rebirth, you've got to, you got to...
But it also did end on a, like, point to where, like, it could be a solo movie. Like, it didn't... Yeah. It doesn't necessarily, like... end on a cliffhanger or anything. Like, they got the serums. Like, it did kind of, because he was like, we'll do whatever you want with it, and then it just kind of ends.
So we'll see where it goes. I mean, if they announce an eighth one, this is a franchise where it's like, just give me more. I love dinosaurs.
No, I'm not going to complain. I'll go see it. If they're making movies, I'm going to go watch it.
Oh, for sure. They're one of those franchises, man. And nobody has done dinosaurs as good as the Jurassic movies have.
I don't even know any other, like, besides animated. Like, I don't know any other live action.
There's a lot of good animated dinosaur movies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like... I
mean, there's a few live-action dinosaur movies I've seen that I've just like 65 was a recent one that pops in my head that I was just like, dinosaurs look cool, story was kind of meh.
I'm not too familiar with any live-action dinosaur movies. I'm trying to think.
But, yeah, this one had some good moments. Kind of jumping over to, I mean, even the other family, kind of jumping over to them. You talked about Xavier. He's definitely the comedic relief. Some of the funniest moments in this movie are from him.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's the... peeing scene where you just have the raptors just going at it behind him.
Asking his girlfriend's dad, you smoke?
Yeah, I got some weed. It might be a little damp. And then he asks the daughter, you smoke? But, and then the other one where he's like swings at let's do it. And he sings and he's
let's do it that way, though.
Let's do it that way, yeah.
I hated him at first. I was like, oh, this
I did too. I did. On the boat, I was like, God, this guy's a douche.
Yeah. And then he ends up, he saves girlfriend,
he has a good arc.
And the dad ends up like being like, all right, he's not that bad. He's a little annoying, but
he has a good arc.
He's got a good heart deep down.
For sure. He might have the best arc in the movie. Like,
I would say so.
He does the most change, I feel like, in the movie from the first scene to the end. But
either him or Scarlett Johansson's character. I mean, because she was all set on the money at first. And now she's like, maybe we could use this for something better.
Everybody
talking into Dr. Loomis.
Everybody definitely has a good change in their arc, except for Rupert Friend.
Yeah,
who
he's
ends up
just the bad guy.
Greed gets the best of him.
I knew.
That's the
I
theme
knew.
of these
The
movies,
scene
though,
when the
really.
helicopter, I literally was like, he's grabbing that gun. He's gonna come back later in the movie. And I thought he would maybe shoot one of them or something. He didn't end up shooting one of them, but
Yeah.
he missed. But as soon as that scene happened, I'm like, he's gonna take the gun from that guy. The way they showed it and like didn't say anything else about it till the very end, I just knew.
Yeah.
A little foreshadowing.
For sure. Continuing with the good. Like we said, it looked good. I thought the cinematography was great.
Gonna say the action, the special effects.
Yeah.
The environment.
A lot of iconic quotes.
Yeah.
I think it was shot very well. That was something I was really
good
excited
mix
for
of comedy. Not
yeah.
like they didn't try to make it a comedy movie like nowadays some action movies do, where they go like over the top with the comedy, which I like comedy. So like. But, like, sometimes it can be too much. I feel like they sprinkled
more
it
of the
in.
comic relief route. Like,
Yeah.
where something tense was happening,
like,
maybe the next
I'm a
scene.
big Marvel fan, but I feel like sometimes that's their problem is they try to make it too funny.
Yeah.
And instead of focusing on the story and the action, to where this had, like, a couple jokes sprinkled in to, like, ease the tension from just because it was just 10 minutes of you on your edge of your seat.
For sure.
Having anxiety. And they're like, all right, let's sprinkle one joke in there for them.
And for me, it felt, once again, I already mentioned it, but it was an adventure movie at heart. And that's what I want with these Jurassic movies, so I was happy to get that. Gareth Edwards, I mentioned, I thought the direction was great. I was excited to see what he did with it because I liked the way he could just make a spectacle, especially with monsters we see with Godzilla. He does it once again here with these giant creatures, and I liked everything he did. Great use of color. Like I said, that third act, those flares just really make that D-Rex even more menacing for it being a pretty fugly dinosaur. But I love the use of those flares. That final scene just is so almost aesthetically pleasing because when they get to the compound and the generator kicks on, you get Stand By Me.
Oh, yeah.
Which is awesome. And then you got like this like retro-looking gas station.
Yeah, I love that.
And then from there, the flare stuff, and you've got the old Jeep, and like it's just it's a vibe of a final scene, final showdown for sure.
It was well shot, like you said.
Yeah. Obviously, the music's in the good.
Yeah.
We get some new stuff, but we also get a lot of the, I mean, like we said, the Welcome to Jurassic Park when we're in the Titanosaurus scene. We get Stand By Me when it comes to commercialized music. That's fun. We get some fun commercial music on the boats, too, which were very beach vibe, so I think those were cool. But, yeah, music's definitely, I think, always been the strong suit of this franchise. I don't think I've ever had a complaint when it comes to the music department in any of these movies.
No, yeah, they always have great scores.
Yeah, and it all started with Mr. Williams, the legend, you know.
I mean, that's like top 3 iconic scores. The Welcome to Jurassic Park, that's got to be.
It's up there, dude.
It's like that and like Star Wars, like.
Yeah, and the same composer for both of those.
I would say those are like up there, maybe the top 2, honestly, for me.
Yeah. What else we got in the good? Like I said, I like the characters.
Yeah, I like most of the characters. I mean,
I like the way the dinosaurs look, and the dinosaurs we get. We also get a Dilophosaurus. Kind of forgot to mention that one.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of a quick one because the T-Rex scares it away.
I like Dolores.
Dolores, yeah.
Licorice.
Yeah.
Their licorice. Which is not licorice, they were sweet tart ropes, and they kept calling it licorice. And I was like, those are sweet tart ropes.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it is, I don't know.
I said, when Dolores popped up on the screen, I was like, Rosie, this is you. She was like, what? And I was like, watch. Starts handling.
No, I love Dolores, dude. It was like a fun little element.
Yeah, yeah. Help the girl feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Definitely a step up from the 5th and 6th installment.
Oh. Like I said, I like this one a lot. This is up there for me. Like, maybe it's because I'm still like, I only watched it once, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm gonna watch it again. But it was just fun, man. Yeah. It was like the most anxiety I felt in a theater in a while.
Yeah.
For me personally. I mean, I don't watch a lot of horror movies, so.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Anything else in the good for you?
I think we covered most of it. I mean, it's just a good movie.
So we can hop over to the mad then. I don't have anything in the bad. Anything that I have complaint-wise would fall here in the mad category.
Yeah, I don't think anything there's like I hate. So I would say.
I liked the two. I liked having the characters of both sides, but there were times where it got a little messy with that. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like this is the most organized movie I've ever watched. But it's still, it with the comedic relief you get and the adventure you get, I can kind of just like look past it. You know what I mean?
It didn't I know like Corey was saying that when we
Yeah.
were talking about it the other night, and it just didn't bother
It didn't bother me
much.
too much either.
Like I liked both groups. Like
Yeah.
I liked the switching back. It wasn't like some movies like the Minecraft movie I know when you kept switching over. Like this didn't really bother me. They did it at like the right times. They didn't do it at like bad moments.
Yeah.
Like it would get through like an intense scene, it would like settle down and then it would switch over. So
for me, I think once we get to the island, I'm really behind it. I think the slowest parts is before the island.
when they're on the boat, yeah.
I think that's
But they have to like introduce both groups.
They do.
So, like,
They do. And I just at first because I've watched this twice now. The first time I watched it like an hour in, I was like, man, this is kind of like really slow paced.
Yeah.
And then like the second time I watched it, I'm like, I can get behind it a little better, but once they get to the island is when I really fall in love with both groups.
Yeah, because it's pretty fast paced once they get to the island.
Yeah,
it's pretty much
I agree.
nonstop action. I mean, you get a couple like slow down scenes like when they meet Dolores and like stuff like that, but like it's pretty action packed once they get to the island.
Yeah, and I would probably say the pacing at the because it is a long first half of the movie, but like you said, once it gets to
it was a pretty long movie. What was the runtime on this?
I think it's 2 hours and like
I
8
said
minutes.
it felt like 2.5 hours. We were in the theater.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a pretty long movie, which I don't mind. I like long movies.
Yeah.
But,
It probably could have been cut a little bit, though.
Yeah. They probably could have dropped it down to, like, they could have cut, like, 10, 15 minutes off.
For sure.
Like, I don't think they need to cut too much off, but,
No.
like, if they would have cut, like, 10, 15 minutes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think of other things I have in the meh. Xavier at the beginning, I was like, oh no, I feel like I'm gonna hate this character, but he really turns the ship around. So, I ended up liking his character, but that scene when he's on the boat is really hard to watch him.
Oh, dude, I was like, this is crazy.
I was like, there's no way I'd talk to my girlfriend's dad.
No,
like
I was
that.
like, there's no way the dad's just, and then the girlfriend's like standing up for it. I'm like, there's no way any girl would just. I mean,
maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
He just went back down and slept and was gonna let his girlfriend just drive the boat.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought he was gonna drown. I thought they were gonna kill him off at the beginning of the movie. I was like,
yeah,
that's.
Oh, I know.
I honestly thought that, and that was gonna be like the daughter's like arc is like losing her boyfriend.
Yeah.
But no, he lived and he ended up having a good arc, like you said. Like he probably had the best arc in the movie.
Yeah.
So because I ended up liking him by the end of the movie. I mean, he ended up being a pretty good guy.
I do have one more little gripe. The fact that all started from a Snickers wrapper is kind of crazy.
It is, yeah. It's
a little far-fetched, but
yeah.
I feel like you could have come up with something a little more feasible, a little more logical.
Yeah, that was like a quick like couple minutes too. Like
and Snickers probably paid like a couple $1 million.
Well, dude, not only that, but like when they're in the gas station, it was the same thing. They had Snickers, M&Ms, like all the candies. Like, so.
Yeah.
But no, that's the beginning is probably in meh for me. I didn't really like the beginning of the movie. Like the first 10, 15 minutes was very slow for me, and then like the kill wasn't that cool. Like it was just he was like crying, and she was just like.
Once again, the red was cool, but like, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really. It wasn't like cool like some of the other kills.
I thought the lab looked cool, like set design wise. A lot of the set design in this movie was good, but yeah, I agree that.
Also kind of like over the like lab and like lab coat setting and type thing from like the other ones. And almost like that's why I think I like the islands. It was just like they were adventure. Like
I think the you mentioned the first 10, 15 minutes. I think once we get to Dr. Loomis is
when it starts to get good, when he's like chewing on the
Altoids, and you just hear him chewing super loud, and then he chews one of the Titanosaurs.
Oh yeah,
and they're like, "Are you ready?" And he goes, "Yep."
Yeah, because like the first couple minutes when Scarlett Johansson and the bad guys, dude, I keep forgetting his name, but when they're like in the car and then they go talk and stuff, I'm like, this is starting off pretty boring. Like it was. I will say that's probably the meh for me. The first like 10 minutes of the movie.
I mean, you gotta set it up.
They have to. I do understand that. Like you were saying with the same thing with the family. Like I understand, but at least like the family scene was kind of more. They had a little bit of comedy. The boat got flipped. Like
for sure.
But I understand it's new characters. It's a whole new. It's not going to jump right into action. Like, you can like if they make a second one to this trilogy, hopefully. But
for sure.
It's a little slow at first, but then I feel like once they're on the boat, especially once they're on the boat, it's nonstop.
Yeah,
like,
once all the characters are together, that's when it's really here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? and the complaints?
I really don't have too many complaints.
Neither
with
do
this
I.
movie. Like, I see a lot of people on Facebook and stuff. I was just clicking on some comments of the trailer this morning, and they were like complaining that it does feel like a horror movie. They're like, this is too much of a, and like, because it's not real dinosaurs, and they did like the D-Rex and stuff. They tried to make it, but
there are real dinosaurs too.
Yeah, I kind of like that aspect though. I kind of like the like horror theme and how much like they all obviously have that little bit, but like.
And
this one was pretty.
If we had the power to mess with genetics, humans are definitely going to start collabing on like people. There is no way no one's going to make a raptor mix with a pteranodon if they had the power to do that. Yeah. That's just human greed, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we can hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with Jurassic World Rebirth, and what do you give it out of 10?
I liked it. It was fun. Like I said, anxiety, fun. We can do half ratings.
Yeah, if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I was between an 8 and a 9, so I'm just gonna say 8.5.
Okay.
Because I really can't. I almost want to give it a 9. But yeah. I'll just stick with 8.5.
Honestly, the first time I watched this, I was between like a 6 and a 7, and the second time I was between a 7 and an 8. After talking about it, dude, I think I'm just gonna go solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's good. It really is good. Like in my opinion,
I think my first watch was bogged down by the fact that Cinema had a fire alarm go off halfway through the movie, and we had to evacuate the building for like.
Then you had to try and jump
40
back
minutes.
into
Yeah.
it.
So we had a 40-minute gap between the first half and the second half of the movie.
Yeah, it's like an intermission.
So I was like really taken out of it. And so the second watch, I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I am liking this a lot more.
Yeah.
I think it's because I didn't have a 40-minute gap between the first and half out.
I liked it a lot. It's
so yeah, I'm gonna go 8 out of 10 on it. Man.
It's the best one since Jurassic World, the first one.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely better than 5 and 6. I still think it's a step down from my favorites in this franchise, but it's definitely a step up from what we've
It's either third or fourth for me.
Yeah.
After like I was watching some stuff, I was like just diving in and watching like some scenes from some of the other ones. Like it's either third or fourth. I might put it at third. I might have it better than Jurassic Park 3, but it's definitely better than 2 and 5 and 6.
Let's go ahead and start ranking them. So we'll go 7 to 1. We'll start with 7th place. What do you got in 7th?
7th is definitely Fallen Kingdom. Is that Fallen
100%
Kingdom?
agree.
That's
Okay, yeah. Fallen Kingdom is my
the one in the
least
mansion. Yeah, that's
franchise.
definitely the worst Jurassic Park.
I think we can probably agree on 6th place then. Dominion. Yep.
I would say that.
Okay, so 5th place.
I would say 2, Jurassic Park 2.
Okay. 5th place and up, this is like, I adore all of these movies, by the way.
They're all like, even Fallen Kingdom, I would still give it like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
Like, it's still not terrible, it's just, like, none of the Jurassic Park movies are awful. They're just ones that are worse than the others.
Yeah. For 5th, this is where I am going to put Rebirth. I liked it a lot. It's just, these top 4 I adore, man.
Yeah.
So, 4th place.
Yeah, I'm gonna put 3.
Okay.
I know you're not going, but
yeah, 4th for me. This is where I'm going to put The Lost World, the second one. I have it as an 8 out of 10 as well. I like it a little bit more. It has the iconic scenes that I talked about in the full review, and with T-Rex in San Diego. I got my Padres hat on, little Easter egg, you know. I got the raptor scene. Like, there's just so many good scenes in that second movie, so that's why I put it a little bit ahead of Rebirth. But 3rd place.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Rebirth there.
Okay. 3rd place for me, this is where I'm going to put World, the first World. Love seeing the park come to life. I think it's a really good, jump back in after a 14-year gap between movies. I think it's a fantastic installment. 2nd.
Yeah, I'm gonna put World there. I mean, it's like you said, the park that's my favorite thing. Like, it's so cool. And like the kill where the girl gets dropped down.
Dude.
And
so good.
One of my favorite kills in any Jurassic Park movie. Yeah, World is so good.
2nd for me, I'm going to go Jurassic Park 3. You know, I'm a Spinosaurus guy. I love that movie. The satellite phone ringtone is my ringtone.
Yeah.
The scene when it's ringing in the Spino's stomach and it's like breathing behind them.
Yeah.
Like, dude, the Spinosaurus is kick-ass. I love that 3rd movie.
And then obviously, there's only one right answer.
The top of number 1, the 1993 original Jurassic Park. It's a perfect movie, man.
Yeah, it's... Honestly, I'd probably give this one and World both 10 out of 10s for me.
Okay.
Just World's a little less, and I think it's just because it doesn't have the nostalgia.
Yeah. Dude, that first one is like... Every time I watch it, I like
good.
it more. It's one of those movies that like it never...
Every time I watch it, it reminds me of... I don't know why. It just reminds me of watching it one night before Boy Scouts, and I was like, it was like halfway through the movie. My dad's like, "All right, it's time to go to Boy Scouts," and I remember just being so mad because I wanted to finish Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And every time I watch it, I think of that. I don't know, random things.
I mean, that's a big reason for me too. Jurassic Park and Jaws. I have the memories
Yeah.
of watching them with my grandparents and
Yeah.
my dad when we lived with my grandparents, and they were like the first two movies where I was like, movies
Yeah.
are kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Like they're the two
It's-
movies that Jurassic Park.
Like you said,
and that's why I'll take these movies.
it's one of the
because-
best scores. Like I
Yeah.
said, if not the best. Like I'd put that or Star Wars would be.
Great group of characters.
I mean, it was the first
Dinosaurs.
movie where you I don't know if there's an older movie before that where you really get to see dinosaurs like that, like come to life.
Dude,
like
Spielberg,
that.
he made
And directed by Steven Spielberg, one of the best directors of all time.
He made sharks scary, and then he came around a couple decades later and was like, let's do dinosaurs. He is every 6-year-old boy's dream of a director.
Yeah.
70s, he made Sharks. 80s, he made E.T. And 90s, he made this. Like,
yeah, that's a generational run right there.
Yeah.
So,
and that's not even to mention Indiana Jones was also him.
Yeah.
You know.
It's crazy how much.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind in the 70s, too. I guess Aliens were even before the 80s.
Yeah.
Dude, Spielberg's the man.
Yeah.
Love that guy. He gave me some of my favorites, so thank you, Steven. We love you here at Fast Times with Willy B.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, that'll do it for Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yes, sir. Rebirth.
That'll do it for Jurassic World Rebirth. Chris, thank you for stepping in,
Yes,
my man.
sir, of course.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Go check out the rest of the Jurassic Park and World movies because they were reviewed with Tony. Let us know what you think of this franchise. Let us know your rankings in the comment. What did you think of Rebirth? But if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out.
Yeah,
it's definitely
it's fire.
a cool movie to watch. And we will talk to you all soon.
Peace.
Peace.